Hey, it's Jonathan. I wanted to talk to you about why it's so important that you do not use emotion or threats to parent your children. See, I see this all the time with parents, and they just don't realize how much it makes their job harder as parents and how much damage it does for their kids. I was talking to this 12-year-old boy who was in my office, and the first thing that I saw with him is how sad he was. I mean, this kid was really, really sad. He had lost interest in pretty much everything. He didn't want to play sports. He didn't want to hang out with his friends. He wasn't doing his schoolwork. He wasn't doing anything pretty much in every area of his life. And what brought him to come see me, or the reason they brought him to me, was the guidance counselor was talking to him, and he said he just didn't want to live anymore, and he was thinking about killing himself. You know, what really stood out when this kid was talking to me was how much his parents had been using guilt, anger, shame, and threats to get him to do what they wanted him to do. And they had been doing this his whole life. I mean, he started telling me story after story after story where his parents would want him to do something, and then his mom would say, "You make me so sad. I'm so sad that you won't do this. You used to be my good little boy, but now you won't do this anymore. Why won't you do this? What's wrong with you?" And then when he got so tired and apathetic, just numb from hearing all of her guilt and shame, then she would just threaten. He said they would always say, "You're grounded for a month." And then he told me that, you know, they never actually grounded me for a month. At most, it went like 3 or 4 days, and then I would be a good boy, and then they would let things go back to the way they were. You know, so basically this kid learned that he didn't need to listen to his parents because it was all emotion, it was all hype. And his dad was on the other end of the spectrum. His dad would scream and yell, and when this kid wouldn't do what he was supposed to do, the dad would basically scare him, use fear and intimidation to get this kid to do what he needed to do. And of course that involved a lot of threats, most of which were never followed through. So, you know, when you use emotion and you use threats, you start this very, very vicious cycle that becomes extremely damaging to your relationship, to your kids' self-esteem, and the whole family. Because basically, kids figure this out. They figure out that you're not serious, that it's all emotion. So they stop responding. They become very tolerant to your emotion. Whether it's anger or shame or guilt or sadness, whatever it is, they become very tolerant and they don't listen to it as much. So what you have to do as a parent is you have to ramp it up. You have to get more angry. You have to get more sad. You have to be more manipulative to get them to do what they want. But when you use emotion to control someone, including your children, what happens is they become resentful. They become resentful that you have manipulated them, that you have controlled them, that you have made them feel like crap. And then they become angry. They become more resolved not to do what you want them to do. And then of course you have to ramp it up again. And that cycle goes and goes and goes until basically the whole situation is out of control. And that's where I see 12-year-old boys come into my office with the self-esteem of a gnat, and they're thinking about ending their life. It's ridiculous. I don't want you to fall into that same trap. And I'm sure you're not as extreme as those parents, but you know, that kind of thing creeps up because it's easy. I'll be honest with you, as a parent, there's times it's a lot easier for me to get angry or to use some sort of control manipulation type thing to get my kid to do what I want him to do. But that easy route always becomes the hard route later. So that's what we got to avoid. That's what you have to avoid. You know, I talked about it in the other videos about the importance of setting crystal clear expectations and following through, and then putting that expectation on your children in a healthy way. It's their responsibility. It's the thing they need to do, and it has nothing to do with your emotion. It has nothing to do with your love for them. You love them, you care about them. This is what they need to do. You've got to parent without using emotion and without using threats. Look, I know it's hard. It is so hard as parents, you know, to just think of everything that we got to do to get it right. But it's not about being perfect. It's about keeping it up. Love your children. Keep at it. You're doing a great job, and it is all worth it. Hey, I hope that helped you out, and I know some other people need to hear it, so share it with them, please. And you know, if you go to my website, jonathanleague.com, you can sign up for my email updates, and every time I put out a new video or a training, I will let you know by an email. I love it when you sign up for my Facebook page. It makes me smile when I get a new like, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know, all this stuff that I'm putting out for free is coming right to you, and you don't miss anything. Thank you guys, I love it, and I appreciate how much you are supporting me. I love the messages that I'm getting and the feedback. It feels so good to know that what I'm doing is helping some people. You guys take care. That was number 3 of the top 5 things that are misunderstood about parenting. Now that you've watched number 3, check out number 4. And if you haven't watched 1 and 2, go watch those too. Hey, you guys take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Dramatic spin ending. Woo! That is why I should probably not sit in a spinny chair when I do these videos. It's just too tempting. Later.